Welcome to We Table It,
Hello
a
and
space
good
where conversations are dissected to inspire change.
No matter how tough it gets, don't give up. Your story is still unfolding. Time your greatest currency. Spend it on purpose, not just potential. There's power in your peace. Joy is not found, it's created, owned, and released from within. You were never meant to do this alone. Community is strength. Unity builds legacy. Even the longest path begins with a single step. Keep walking, even if no one's clapping yet. These are the moments that matter. Build a life that feels good, not just one that looks good. Wishing changes nothing. Action changes everything. Begin now. This is We Table It, where courage, connection, and clarity converge. Join the conversation.
Hello, good afternoon to everybody, and welcome to another edition. Yes, I'm just saying good afternoon to everybody and hoping you can all hear me well. Yes, today we're joined by all three of us. We've got Osaro here and we've got Eno here. So, good afternoon from Kenya and welcome to you both.
Hi, Valerie. Good afternoon to you. And it's an absolute pleasure to see you again, gracing this stage. It's a good morning here from the United States, and I'm ready to do this. I've got my cup of milk here, and we're waiting for the show to get hot this morning. Good to see you again.
Yes, I'm hoping you can both hear me well.
Absolutely, we can hear you, Valerie. We're just waiting for you to
I
get
can hear you,
done
Valerie.
and
Welcome,
come back.
everyone.
Fantastic. Thank you. I'm going to ask for a few moments with my to be camera shy as my network stabilizes, but I am here and I am speaking.
Oh, that's great, Valerie. Do your thing, and that doesn't stop the flow of the show. So, Anna, what's been happening in your end for the past 1 week? Can you hear me, Anna? Anna, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me, Doctor?
Absolutely. So, what's been happening in your end for the past 1 week?
All right, great. Hi, everyone. You're welcome. While we wait for Valerie, I think myself and the doctor will just kick off and we'll start chatting. So, what has been your week? How was your week? Mine was quite eventful, a lot of things to do, a lot of things that I did not complete. However, and engage in this conversation. Doctor, can you tell us how your week went?
Oh yeah, my week was I would say a mixture of the normal things, and the normal things refers to work. I do the 9 to 5 primarily, and then of course adventure. Yeah, spend time hopping from one new restaurant in town to the other and tasting some exotic delicacies. And that formed the basis of my unwinding for the most of the evenings this past 1 week. So I'm a foodie. So I went around trying different new cuisines, and I did a good job at that. And I'm gonna, continue this weekend and fill up my cravings with trying out new delicacies in any restaurant that I haven't been to. And having said that, I think I would like to engage the audience now. So if you're joining us, could you share this broadcast so that it can reach a lot of other people? And it will be good for you to also stay tuned because we've got a contest today. All right, so you know that contests are our way of rewarding our followers and our teaming fans out there who have stuck to us and are still having our back. So, in any way little, we try to give back to you. At the same time, giving back to society. So, if you're out there, you can join us. Stay tuned, and we're going to be reeling out the contest for today. And you know what? It is time dependent. So it means those who fulfill the task earliest will be the winners. So why don't you stay tuned and get on it as quick as you can? All right. Yeah, so that's it. Boss lady, you're back. So tell us what's cooking today. All right, Valerie, you're back. Good to see you now. All right, so
Yeah.
you want to tell us what's cooking today?
I would be happy to tell you what's cooking today, and yeah, get some insight from you. So where do I begin? I was having a chat with Eno over the last week, and we were talking about women. And the subject came up where I was explaining an experience I'd had where whenever I go for professional meetings or, walk into boardrooms, I always find there's an imbalance between women and men, where the women are more than the men. And I started to question, why is it that there are more women than men at upper level management levels now, much more than there were before? And why are the men so silent? And so this started an interesting dig to see what could be causing this. And before I get you to just share your comment, what I'd like to do is talk about some statistics that Eno shared with me that showed that we've had for progressively some time, women are graduating at higher rates than men from high school, from university. It's been happening for some time. And so that could be something that's contributing to it. But maybe I'd like to find out from your point of view, Osaro, are you seeing this imbalance or noting it that the more you look around, the more you're seeing sort of, let me say, upper level women professionally than men?
Oh, yes. This is something that I haven't just noticed. I noticed a couple of years ago that the trend has been shifting, and we had, as the economic systems are shifting, we're having more women take up roles that are managerial in nature or leadership. And this is a good sign, to be quite honest. And that is because we are now having more gender equity in play practically, more inclusivity in the workplace and in leadership circles. And hey, you know what? Give a woman something to nurture, and she'll do a good job at that. People are getting to notice this. Women are getting empowered and aware, and then practically starting to use their God-given, you know, properties. Now, you see, this didn't just happen. It has been walking. It has been coming. For many leadership positions, you need to be equipped with some sort of educational background or financial stability, you know. So, in order to get well educated, you need to go to school, and that in itself takes time. And so, women and our society have noticed this, and with time, they've come to embrace it. And to be quite honest, I did watch a show, a recorded YouTube video recently, and oh, I can't forgive myself for forgetting this woman's name, but she did a good job giving a talk about the wide-ranging issues primarily located in the African continent, and she gave her submissions on the causes of this, and I couldn't but and she kept talking for about an hour. She's from Zimbabwe, Southern Africa, and she provides some very practicable solutions to many of the problems which she said she had already started taking actions for, if not some issues that some challenges that she encountered. And what came to my mind was, if there was to be any reality of the United States of Africa, this woman should be the first leader. That's what came to my mind.
Wow.
So you see, yeah. And
Mm.
well, and not only that, during my sojourn in Southeast Asia and Malaysia, we could see that the women there were very involved in the workplace and in social circles. And I did at some point went through my Google, my computer, to check the percentage of women in higher level management. It turned out that, of course, there were more men, contrary to my conjectural opinion, but there were significant number of women, which was a good thing when in relation to some other parts of the world. And I do believe that this statistics going to keep growing positively to a point where we'll see an almost balanced figure. So yeah, you came up with this topic. Why did you instigate this conversation? You must have something, you know, cooking in the pot. Let me hear it.
Mm. Oh, yes. My pot is cooking. I'm going to use this conversation as a base to throw everything to the left and take you on a journey you're not quite ready for. But I'd love
Oh,
to hear your input. And before I throw you in that direction, Eno, would you like to add on to what Osaro has said, or even give a different point of view? Mhm. In case you're speaking, Eno, you are currently muted. So you'd have to unmute and let us know what your thought is. Okay. Um, we'll give Eno a moment. When I see her unmute, I'll pause so that she can give her feedback. So yes, Osara, where I want to take you with this conversation. So when I thought about this, because it started off thinking
My
about why are there
apologies.
so
I
many
didn't
women?
notice I was. I'm battling with the network, and I would chip in when I am good with the information. For now, I'm just struggling to hear in pieces what you guys are saying, but I'll be back shortly. I'm working on it.
Okay, thank you, Eno. Um, all right. So where I'd like to take this. So in thinking about this and thinking about women and where we are today, I went back and thought, where did this start? And I'm like, what we're seeing today is 20 years in the making for us to get here, starting from when women really started to look for their rights. And then I thought of what is happening within families. And this is where I'd really love to hear your input. So I look at the family today, and let me use myself as an example. Me as a woman I'm 40 years old. So me as a 40-year-old woman who is currently single and raising a child on my own. So by definition, they would say I am a single mother. And oftentimes I get questions and asked, why aren't you dating? And then I look and I tell the person, there's nobody available that I want. That's one of the reasons. And then ask deeper, why don't you want this person? And a lot of the time it comes up to what are we doing in life? Are they settled? Are they financially stable? Do they have an education that is matching or higher than mine? I run my own business. Do they run their own business? Are they earning more than I'm earning? And because I don't want sort of to settle with an equal, I'd like to settle with somebody who is a little bit more than I am. Then they can comfortably take on the role as the man in the relationship. And so I look at all my friends around me who majority are older or the same age. I'm single, probably from a previous relationship that did not work or whatever it is, and having the same challenges where you want to be able to get into another relationship or go the next step in life, but there is an imbalance in terms of the men available and the women available. And I'm thinking that this imbalance comes and is also rooted in what we're seeing as an imbalance in the workplace. Because if we go to the workplace to meet a man, we're not meeting a man in the workplace. We have gone too far ahead. So, what are your thoughts on this in terms of this conundrum connecting to the other one?
Does that go to me or to Eno?
Either of you, but Osara, you can start.
You put me in a tough spot here, but for us to identify root causes and properly put it in context, we need to go back a little bit. You know what? We need to see that, um, and this is from my own narrow lens, and this is quite subjective. But in time past, you find out in many cultures that I know of, primarily in the African continent, there was a lot of celebrations when a male child was born compared to a female child. And this doesn't eliminate any disparities. It's just that we were in a male oriented society. Take note of the word I used there, where, all right, is a past tense. So that sort of was responsible in many ways for um, the population of men outnumbering that of women. And so when you look at global statistics today, Although things are changing, but you sort of find men outnumber women. And so this is the feeder system. When you have more men feeding into a system relative to women, the output should be similar, isn't it? And not only that, this also
Mm.
affected those that had academic opportunities, opportunities to go to school where male were focused primarily on, and then we had male dominated courses of study. And so you should expect that when you have male dominated courses of study, you would have more men pursuing that line of work in the future. But now that
Mm.
society is sort of seeing a change in the statistics, you're finding more women coming to the picture, you're finding more celebrations associated with the birth of a female child relative to what it was previously, then it's a no-brainer to show to I mean for us to notice that since the feeder system is changing, the output will change. And so we're getting to see these dynamics and statistics change in many areas of life, in business, in finance, in the workplace, in sports. All right, in sports. All right, I do remember giving a lecture some about 2 years ago to some of my students, and we were this was kind of like a similar topic, and we were trying to identify why, for example, in a game of soccer, all right, and we used the United States
Mm.
team as an example, quintessential example.
Mhm.
And in the game of soccer, we can have male soccer and female soccer, right? And the same number, 11-11, and the same duration, 45 minutes in each half, two halves.
Mhm.
However, the pay was different. So what I mean is that if the pay to the male relative to the female was different, and we use the case study of the national team. So we're not talking about the clubs where individuals own the club, so they can, with the board, determine how much pay they will give to their employees, which are the players. So, but we use the national team, and we're like, okay, so if they're doing the same thing on the pitch, and mind you, I had more ladies in the classroom relative to men, all right, the males, females relative to the males. And we both agree that why was there disparity after I brought out this case study? And we needed to answer it. And I'm going to post this question to you before I tell you the majority of the answers that I got. So, Valerie, what do you think? I don't know if you've noticed,
Mhm.
Kenya is a big country when it comes to cricket. I'm not sure if you all do female cricket there too, but in the case study that I gave, it was primarily soccer. So why do you think there is a disparity in the pay, irrespective of the fact that they practically do the same job? All right.
Um,
Uh-huh.
Interesting question. Why, especially in sport and looking at the Kenyan situation, what I would say is I'd look at it from what are the spectators engaging with more? Because where they're engaging more is where if I was an investor or putting money behind something, I would put more money behind the higher engagement. So in men's sports, there's a lot of engagement, especially there's specific sports for Kenya. So for Kenya, for example, football, there's a lot of engagement from men. Cricket, I'm not so sure. I've not seen a female cricket team. So cricket, I'll say yes, but then there are certain sports like volleyball, where we have a very strong female team. And then athletics, it's both in terms of our running. But for the most part, I think, yeah, we pay men more. We see them more. And uh, gosh, this is interesting. in when it comes to that, I and equality, not that I think women should be paid less, but I just I it's just men should be paid more, and I don't know the reason why. So if there are any women who want to shoot me out there for saying that, it's because now I'm thinking about it. I'm not, I'm like, okay, you know, I don't know how much in terms of energy and the like that is different between the two. But my assumption is since we see the men so much more and what they're up to, then it would make sense that they would be then paid more.
All right. Well, this is good. And it sort of mirrors the kind of responses that I got. I got the same responses that, well, men had the sport, when it comes to the men's side, is more commercialized and there's more revenue coming in from there. So that's why it was a no-brainer
Mm,
for such a response. But you know what? I was talking of the national team, not the club side where
mm,
mainly for profit. But I think this can form the discussion for another day while we carry on. But I just put that up so that we can have the stars, the lights coming up, and see the different dimensions this particular talk could go when it comes to this changing dynamics in the workplace and in all areas of our lives. Yeah, so that was my
mm.
response. I can see Anna coming back here. I want to believe she's itching to say something about this topic that she holds so dear to her. Right.
Yeah, doctor, the network is still a struggle. I'm really itching to say something. I'm just waiting to grasp everything you guys are speaking about. What topic are we on right now?
We're talking about the effect of, with more women being educated and more older women being single, the difficulty in finding a partner at your same level as an older, educated, high earning woman. And that explaining why many people are single. And then what Osaro brought up was the issue of equality and our point of views on equality. And he mentioned when we talk about even something as simple as sport, are we equal in terms of pay and how we perceive it?
My apologies, it's a struggle.
Oh, I'm sorry for the network challenges. Oh, okay. Okay, hopefully Eno's network will clear up and she'll be able to really engage because I know this is one topic she would love. But before I move forward, I'll ask Osara, are you ready to go deeper on this one?
Well, bring it on.
Okay. So,
Bring it
Osara, when
on.
I think about this topic, yes, now you've made me think about equality. I'm like, okay, yes, equality is an interesting point of view from the African point of view. On the corporate
All right.
world, we are ready to be equal. We want equal pay. When I think about professional sports, I'm sure the people who play sports want equal pay. So we all sort of
Mm-hmm.
want to be recognized for the same. My opinion, as traditional as it might be, is men and women are different. So we really need to also recognize that there are differences. We're not the same. And
That's correct.
one of the things I'd like to ask about relates to many women who are sort of older and single and have children. All right. And this is where I'm coming from. And I'd like your input on this, especially a male point of view. So, some time back, I don't know when, I don't know where I initially heard this, but I know that I've heard it and you have too, where when we look at criminals, right, many
All right.
people say criminals are as a result of growing up with single mothers. I'm sure
Mm.
you've heard that before.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I have.
Yes, where yes, people who sort of, when things go wrong, this is why. And now I'm looking at the world as it is now, with families not being as structured as they were 20 years ago. So you've got very many more families which are single parent families, or parents are co-parenting and trying to
All right, it's looking like we're having some internet connectivity challenges from Valerie's end, and that has impacted this flow. So, oh, Eno is here. Eno, are you back fully with your internet now? You can jump in. You're unmuted. I mean, you're muted. You want to unmute?
Sorry. Hi, everyone. Somehow I can hear what you guys are saying from another device. It's crazy, but that's just the network's challenge for me today. But this topic is quite interesting, and I really want the way women are perceived. That when things go wrong, it's because she's a single parent handling children. Yeah, that's the reality, unfortunately. And like she rightly pointed out, the family structure that we have now is quite different from what we had in the time past. It's not as structured where you have the normal nuclear father, mother, children living in together. Now we have people co-parenting, we have single mothers, we have single fathers, and now when the children go down south, nobody is pointing fingers at single fathers. It just goes straight to the single mother. I think that's a way that the society undermined the efforts of women, or a way to make them subservient. That's my opinion. I beg your pardon. Just allow me my views about it. I think this is the way the society tend to make women subservient, tend to shut them down, tend to make them not to express themselves. I beg your pardon. Now the topic started from we having more educated women or people in leadership than men. Yeah, when I did my research, I found out that yes, we have people who are well read in the United States right now. When we talk about people gaining admission, we find out that even we have more women coming into the universities than we have the men. And when it's time for graduation, the same scenario plays out. Now, when we have more women who are well equipped to face career, face the work life and everything, why are we limiting them from leadership roles? We find out that the men get this another topic. I know I was dodging stones doctor when we are truth. We have this thing in the statistics saying that women are more equipped. We have more people, women going to school, have more women graduates. If you think this is a lie, you can go do your research yourself. When we have women coming out, investing in their education and through the or coming very and are well equipped, they get into institutions, organizations to give in or to give them what they have, they have learned, and they are being kind of subdued or relegated to the back end because they are women. We're talking about this female gender inclusivity thing. It's really a thing. It's a problem. The men are being paid more. The men are being given access to control, leadership position more than the women who are more equipped for this. I think it's a topic of, a topic for a debate, and we are open to your opinion on this topic. We want to read from the men what people are thinking. Is it that the women are just being too, we just want to show ourselves? I want to use the Nigerian nuance. We are just showing ourselves. We just want to be heard. Or is this a reality that we need to really look at? I'm hoping the doctor will jump right back in. However, I don't know, but Valerie said on this, but I'm really interested in hearing right now. I think my network is relatively stable. I'm hoping to hear from.
Oh, and no, yes. There's something you've touched on that I think is so important in terms of, yes, there are more women who are going higher and higher and higher in organizations, but where are they reaching the highest? And what's interesting about what you said is, as much as you'll find many women at that higher upper and middle level part parts of an organization, how many of them make it to become the CEO? And even if they might have more experience, more qualifications, they might even be better in terms of their skills for that job, you'll find that there are companies that still prioritize having a man at the head of these companies. If you look at the largest companies in the world, when there's a female CEO, it is news. We're all talking about it because it's not a natural occurrence. So, yes, even as women are rising, there's a place we're rising to where we get stuck, where now you've reached the highest you can. The most you can do is try and jump from one company to another and see if you can get just a little higher with each time that you jump, which is different for the men. And Osara had mentioned that we grew up, especially in Africa, in patriarchal societies. We were really led by men as the leaders of the home, of the company, of the everything. Men are seen as leaders. And it's still the same around the world. Even if we look at our presidents around the world, we can count the number of women that have actually made it to that level. So when it comes to what's happening as we're rising, yes, we're rising. We're not getting paid as much. We're not getting the same benefits as the men who would have been at the same level. That, yes, I think that is viable and that is very fair. And now I'm looking at, okay, when we talk about equality and getting the same as the men, and look at it from a societal point of view, where there's, we've grown up in societies where the balance is the men lead and the women follow. This is at the most basic level. So, what I'm talking about is at the most basic familial level of mom and dad. Normally dad leads and mom follows. And this is what is being sort of taken off balance. So, what does it mean, and how do we manage it? As women, we are for it. We want the equality, but what's happening to the men? And what do the men want? Do the men want us to just sort of lead the same way as them, or where do the men voices? I feel like their voices are lost a little bit. I don't know. What are your thoughts on that?
Okay, where are the men on this? I'm not a man, so I can't speak for the men, but I think, based on my own experience, that the majority of men from this side of the divide are quite comfortable to see that the women are relegated to the back end. Uh, yeah, from my recent experience, the men are quite comfortable. They prefer that the women are seen and not heard. And this brings me to another topic. Please, I want you guys to share this because it is something that touches on the lives of so many women today. Now, in my part of Africa, I'm in Nigeria at the moment. If you are a woman and you are going for uh, an apartment, you want to get a property for rent, they are going to be requesting for your husband before you are giving that apartment. This is the segregation we're talking about. This is the relegation. What English am I going to be using? So if you are a woman, you are not qualified to go out to meet a property owner to say, I want your property for rent. You need to have a man as your head, either your father or as your husband, to come pen down the acknowledgements and the approval before you are given a house. This is what we see almost like 99% of the time in Nigeria. I don't know about other parts of Africa, but I know in the West or in other developed countries, you do not need to be a married woman or need to have uh, your head, I mean your male figure, come in to pen the approval before you are given a house. Do you have these issues in Kenya, Valerie?
No, no, I have not heard of this issue. Uh, no, I haven't heard of this where you have to be a married couple. No, for the most part, if you want a place to live, you go look, you pay the deposit and move in and keep going. So I'm surprised that that would be
I guess.
criteria for getting a place to live. Mm.
Yeah. So I guess Kenya has gone far above us in this regard. Because if anybody in Kenya can just go, oh, I see this place, I like this place, and I'm paying for this place, and there is no issue. And here in Nigeria, when you want to get the house, you have to come up with all sort of stories just to make them comfortable with giving you, a single woman, a house. That means we have a lot of work to do. I don't know if we have anybody in the comments who is familiar with this kind of situation. I would want to share. We are looking forward to your comments and we would like to hear from you. I'm reading comments from other people here. I'm trying to see something that is relevant to what we're talking about, but I have not seen. When I see your comments and it's relevant to our conversation, I'll be sharing so that everyone can see. Conversation. Thank you. Bless Nadenike Oladayo. Thank you, Eto Ugo.
Mm.
Thank you. Who else am I seeing on the conversation? Yeah, for as many of you jumping in, we appreciate you. Thank you so much for being a part of our journey. Now, on to the next topic.
And
I don't know, Valerie, if you saw the post I sent in to the group. Can you hear me, Valerie?
yes, I did see the post. There's something I want to share before you take me there. That's occurring now as a natural thought for me, as you've been speaking. And what I wanted to share was listening to you now explaining the challenges that as a woman you would face, even with something as basic as getting housing, and needing to have the support, the approval, the buy-in from a man, whether it's your father or your husband or something, so that you can get a home rather than as a single woman. It allows me to see how I can be skewed in my own point of view when it comes to equality, and how it's easy to take for granted um, your day to day. For us, because it never occurs as something that could happen, we don't see that as the gap in when it comes to equality. But yeah, when you mention that, I'm like, yes, then there's definitely bigger gaps. So I think if that's my experience in Kenya, where I'm blind to, there's a challenge women are facing here where they can't get housing because they're women as single women, and here we have our own problems as women, but we facing different problems. It makes it clearer for me now to understand how somebody who is in now a completely different country where they have different scenarios cannot be sympathetic, because it doesn't even occur as a natural thought that women are going through different things in different parts of the world, and what equality looks like in Nigeria can actually be different from what equality looks like here in Kenya. And yeah, when it comes to education and the workplace, are women then, even as they're more and more educated in Nigeria, what opportunities are opening up for them in terms of business, in terms of work, and where they are in the workplace and in society? What's opening up for women who are, let's say, educated, high earning, high potential? Are they in spaces where they can fulfill that?
Thank you for the question, Valerie. In Nigeria, women have been exposed to opportunities, career opportunities. They have, including you have the skills, you have the degrees, you can climb in Nigeria. But one thing is sure, for most women, you need to rub the back of somebody to get somewhere. You need to rub the back. Some There's still this thing they say, when a woman is successful, she must have done something to climb. It's still the man's world here in Nigeria, but we see lots of situations like we have top leading banks, we have women as the CEO of banks, and they've really earned that position because they worked their way up to that position. However, we'll still hear side talks like she slept her way to that position and all the stories. But we still have women in Nigeria who are in top position, if that's the question you're asking. We have them, plenty of them. The question now is, or where the problem is while they are growing their career and they're getting to the top of wherever, the marriage starts because the more successful man is, the more interest she is to the man. And men are not so comfortable. I mean, most Nigerian men, they are not so comfortable with a successful woman. I mean, a woman who is career focused. When she's career focused, they feel that this is not a wife material because they are not wired to have a woman who is empowered. They are not wired to a supportive man. I mean, a significant other to a woman who is successful. I think, they are still in that 1855, 1920s, 30s time, where the man is the complete head. I mean, the head in this, the head of the house, who is a provider, who is a protector, who is everything, and his wife is just home taking care of the kids. All her dreams, all her desires are onto him. She just is there to help him, achieve his dreams and take care of his home, his kids. Yeah, so they are still in that place, but they are not still willing to fulfill all that it takes to be in that place. You want to be the head of the home, but you do not want to have a career wife. However, you do not want to fulfill every of the, basic necessities that a family will need. You are not taking care of the family 100% because the economy is not going to be allowing that. There's so much going on now. There's so much poverty, so much distress in the system. And for a family to survive, both husband and wife have to go out to make sure that the family is okay. Now, if the wife has to go out and the husband has to go out and the husband is still claiming that a man, this whatever, and wanting the respect that the fathers of those days go to work as massaging. In this situation, um, where you are not meeting 100% of her needs and you are expecting that royal treatment, it has caused a strain because women now are focused on their career. They are getting, they are go-getters. They are trying to achieve something so that they can be able to support their homes. And in doing that, they are becoming a threat to their husbands. So it's like rubbing Peter to people. Lots of things are going on. For as much as I think there is a correlation between a woman's success here in Nigeria and the strength of her marriage. Yeah.
Yes. Oh my goodness. That is first true. I believe it's the same here in Kenya. True and very interesting. And I think even as we have been growing as people, since women have learned that they can be more empowered, they can be more educated, they can take up their space. I think men have not evolved into what does a space look like for me now with an educated woman? How can I be supportive in this space? How can I, be the person, the head of the household in a space where my wife might be earning more or might be doing more without feeling threatened? Because I believe men can still be the head of a household without necessarily feeling some kind of way because of what the woman is accomplishing. And when I look now, I'm like, this is us now, the women who have accomplished this. We are raising sons, so in our next 20 years, how are these sons going to be for their partners? You know, because what lessons then
Spouses.
people learn by imitation. So what lessons then are they learning? And are we going to lose, I don't say lose the essence of like a man, but I feel like there's something, as something is happening to men, something is happening to, or something's happening to women. There's something happening to men. I don't know what it is, but I feel like the men who are coming up, I don't know whether they have that leadership character that is expected. I think it's coming as a result of women being powerful. And even just before you share your comment, I think what has happened is women have been left with no choice but to fill in the gaps. Like you said, in the economy, you're two people in a marriage trying to bring up your family and your household. And the way the world is now, it's impossible to lean on just one person alone. The other person sort of has to help. Otherwise, the resources will not be enough. It doesn't mean the women are trying to take over, but you have to help now in a different way. But then, with that scenario as it is, what is happening with our society that's developing as we go into the future, you know? And so the men who come out of this period in the next 10 or 20 years, what are they going to be like? Because I think women will keep going. We're going to keep going and keep getting stronger. But the men, what happens? Mm,
Yeah, I lost you for the few, but I can see you are not talking at the moment. I would like to read a comment from someone, Blessing Adenike Oladayo. Um, she said, I'm curious. I really want to know what's behind that thought. She said, so women are the reason why most men do not want a career woman. I'm trying to see her thought process, why she's saying this. Okay, Blessing Oladayo, you can hear me. I would like to know why you say women are the reason why most men don't want a career woman. I just want to understand. Yes, and I like the comment she's just made now. The success of a woman is the success of the family. If everyone understands this, I think there'll be less crisis in the family. Now, you pointed something that struck me. You said that the women of today, seeing this issue we have on ground, how are they really equipping their sons not to be like the husbands that are having the stress right now? This is why we are appealing to every woman that's watching me at this time to take it upon themselves to train their sons, because it is not just the woman's responsibility alone. You, as a mother, should train your sons to know that times have changed. Trust me, I like soft life. If I were in the dispensation, I mean, in the time of our grandfathers, I'll be very comfortable. I'll just be at home. He's taking care of everything. There is a barn of yams everywhere. We have cattle. I mean, there's goats. You want to kill goats, you can have chickens and all that. Soft life. I don't like stress. Trust me. That would have been ideal. But in this time where the economy is not smiling. Guys, we do not have to be threatened by the success of the other person. Trust me, iron sharpens iron. That she's winning means you are winning. There is a tribe in Nigeria when a woman is successful, they can, or she's looking beautiful, you can say that the man is doing well. You can rate a man's success by how his wife is looking. When you see the wife and the children, you say this man is successful. Now, so if you do not let your wife come out successful, you are going to be, people point fingers at you that there is something. A lot of women's, I mean, gifts, talent has been killed because they have men who are competitive, men who want to subdue them, men who do not want them to express themselves. A lot of gifts. And as many of you that are keeping quiet and just, being laid back about this topic, you are having daughters who are going to face this situation. It's not going to be funny. So we need to address it right now. We need to own this responsibility. Tell our sons that no, you cannot do this. You need to work with your wife as a team. You have to be a partner that is a team player. It's not about who is bigger than who. I'm not saying, because this is another topic for another conversation. I'm not saying that the man cannot be the head. Trust me, if it works for your ship, please, by all means, go ahead. The man is the head in your ship, please, by all means, go ahead. However, not one manual fits every marriage. However, your marriage works, please do not imitate the next one. Whatever we want to have is success at the end of the day. I want to read her comment. I think that should be in response to my initial question. She said, some women have this ego. The moment they realize, I'm trying to show this so that we all can see that. Some women have this ego. The moment they realize they are earning more and just want to take the place of a man in the family, regardless of the fact that a woman is earning more, it should not replace submission and respect for the man. That I agree. This is something that plays out for most women when they are big, when they get bigger than their husband. For some women, they do that. But the other side, some men actually, they are expecting too much. Um, Please permit me to be free to discuss about this. If your woman is earning higher than you, if her work is more tedious than yours, and maybe you go to work as a man, you come back at about 4 o'clock, and she has to close from work, go through the traffic, everything, and she's coming home at about 6 p.m. or 7 p.m. You know this woman is going to work. You know she's on her desk doing her thing. And she comes home, meeting you in the house. You're expecting her to make sure she's preparing fresh soup. There are some men that would not eat the soup that is made yesterday. You have to prepare fresh soup for them every day. Some men are like that. Now, a woman who's gone out all day to go work and bring money to the home, she has to come back and prepare that fresh soup for you and for your children. You fold your leg and be watching ESPN and watching news and all that without giving any sort of support. This is where rebellion comes in. This is where a woman is going to fight back. And when she fights back, that is where the word will come. She's egoistic because she's making money. So we need to balance these things out. We need to balance it out. A woman should remember her place in the marriage. If your man is the captain of the ship, please, by all means, give them the respect and the submission that they need to lead. All right. However, this should not be taken for granted by some men. Please, we see them taking this for granted. Valerie, have you experienced anything like this? I just want to hear from you on this topic.
I mean, yes, I've experienced this. I've experienced in my own relationships a challenge when you go far, and insecurities that come out from men that you didn't see. Because normally, when you start the relationship, you're either you're at par or he is doing better than you are. And as the relationship progresses, you start doing better. For some men, they're supportive. For some, they're unable to manage it. And I think, there's room to speak to men to say, just love your wife, or love your partner, because if that happens, you'll find that this imbalance doesn't come up as much. The same way you love them in the beginning is the same way you should love them as they're progressing. And I think that issue of women, I think this is my assumption. By the time you move from girlfriend to wife, there's something in you that was submissive enough that the man said, okay, this one I can manage, let me marry this person. And that submission was already there. Somewhere along the line, it disappeared. So there has to be reasons why the imbalance came along and why women then stop being as submissive and stop being as respectful. It doesn't come out of nowhere. So I think these lessons that men can learn there in terms of success in the workplace does not necessarily mean imbalance in your relationship. There's a way that you can approach and keep the balance, and it's hard work. But if you're the head of the household, the hard work should be something that you jump into, find a solution to secure and keep your families going. So, our thank you, Blessing. You've been so active today in our chats, and you say there should be a balance, and there should. And I think I look back to marriages from when I think of my grandparents and my parents, and moving forward. In those days, I'm assuming they used to talk about things a little bit more before jumping to conclusions. And they had structures in place to help husbands and wives find balance when they were disagreeing about things or when there was an imbalance. Some of those things, as we've grown into modern times, have reduced. Especially, I think Africa, we've suffered a lot of that type of culture being eroded, but there are lessons we can pick that can help us even today. Mm.
Please, can you come again?
Yeah, I was saying even with where I stopped was even with these differences that we're having between men and women, as women are becoming more successful and earning more, and men are facing challenges in terms of balancing expectations of themselves and maybe their insecurities are moving forward. I said that I think there's value in going back. So when we look at relationships from our grandparents and our parents, at that time when there was imbalances, you had a community, whether it was elders, who would bring you together to help resolve the imbalance so that you can keep moving forward. But the situation today is so different where we don't have the same structures as we did in the past. And my what I'm thinking is we can learn from that. We need to create structures that support people as things are changing so that then you're able to deal with these imbalances without necessarily feeling something that you should not be feeling. If somebody is just succeeding, you just be happy for them and love them and move forward. I think love saves everything. You just focus on that, just the love. You should be okay. Yeah. Mm.
Yeah, I agree with you. However, in those days, they will have this community support from relatives, heads of families. But in these days, what we have therapists, counselors. When you're having this type of stress in your marriage, you just go meet a therapist, both of you together, and then discuss what your challenges are, and then third party listens to you and you know prefer a solution to the stress you're having in the marriage. Yeah. So I think we have this, but how many people are willing to go see a therapist for the issues they're having in their marriage? That's the question right now. How many of us have gone? I don't think I've ever visited a therapist for anything. There are so many reasons why you can go and see a therapist aside from your relation. I beg your pardon, relationships. So many reasons. When you feel depressed, when you're having any issues, whatever it is, there are so many reasons. But I don't think people in my part of the world are ready to see a therapist to divulge situations in their marriages. Very few are willing to do that. It's quite common in the West, but here, no, we don't have that. So I think that's where the gap is at. They are not having that support that they should have to be able to, I mean, that shift from what was to what is right now. I liked what Blessing said initially. She said something about a woman should hustle. I'm trying to see if I can get that comment so that we can show everyone while we try to round up for today. I'm glad that you are learning. Blessing, thank you for every of your contributions, your comments, and the shares so far. All right, so I'm trying to look for that chart, that particular comment where she said that a woman should hustle. Yeah, I agree with her. I can't find that. Valerie, if you see that, please help me highlight that comment.
Okay.
So the economy is not smiling. Whether the man is smiling or not, you have to work, because if you do not work, hungry will kill you. So when you are looking at that, beg your pardon, I want to talk like I'm speaking to the Nigerian audience, but yeah. So if you are not working, if you are not supportive, if you are looking at the man's face, whether his ego is bruised, if you make money, if you succeed or not, you would suffer as a woman. So, yeah, however it is, I think the most important thing is communication. You guys should sit down, talk about these things, and bear in mind bear in mind something. I think one of them would be support if you can communicate. Let this person know that I'm trying to be supportive to this family. If you are going to be taking care of all my needs, I don't see any reason why I'm going to be out. I am your partner. I am your second half. I like the word they use, a better half. I am your the Christians will say you are taken from the man's rib, so you are still the man himself. So when he's fighting you, he's fighting himself. All right. So if you're a man and you're watching this, you know that if you are fighting your woman who is succeeding, you are actually degrading yourself, because if she's succeeding, you are succeeding. That's just it. I that a lot of us are learning from this conversation. If you have anything you know, after we are gone off the live broadcast, you can please leave a comment, and trust me, we'll be there to communicate with you. And if you want to be a part of this conversation, blessing Adenike Oladayo, if you're listening and you want to be a part of this conversation, you'll be welcome to. We can feature you as a guest and have you jump in one of our conversations as well. So let us know. You can leave us a message in our DM, and then we'll get back to you. For me, it's been a pleasure talking about this topic. I'm so glad that the doctor was not on. I guess it was his network, because he would have been shooting stones at me for my stand. You know, he's an African man, you know, that kind of thing. However, it would have been quite interesting. Whatever it is, it's been a pleasure talking to you guys today. From me, it's a bye. But I want to hear from Valeria. I think she would have some closing remarks to make before we say our final byes.
Thank you. I know, no, definitely. This has been an interesting discussion, and very much enjoyed the interaction with our audience today. I thank you for watching and for joining us. And just to reiterate what Eno shared, please share your comments. We love different points of view from everywhere in the world. It's just opening us up to understanding how the world is working. And we invite you to please visit our previous talks. We've talked about a range of topics. If this specific topic was very interesting for you, we do have a lot of topics where we talk about family, we talk about marriage. We've covered many different things. You can find our videos on Facebook and on YouTube. So please visit, listen while you're doing something, and learn a little bit more about what we've been sharing and talking about. And thank you for our very loyal followers who've been with us on this journey so far. Keep signing in. Remember to like, to subscribe, and to just be a part of our We Table It family. And yes, that's it from me for today. So thank you very much. And have a great day wherever you are.